Hi, I'm Raven. I'm here at the Cambridge Music Forum 2026, and I'm here with constant follower, Stephen. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I just came off a panel that was a very interesting panel, but the title was What Now? And it was kind of about, the traditional ways of getting in touch with your fans if you're a musician are disappearing.
Yeah.
And we're sort of saying, well, most people are saying, what now? And it's normally got a what TF in the middle of it as well, because with AI coming on and all of this sort of stuff, musicians are just in a very strange place, and people that are working in the industry are we're in a very strange place because people are looking around them and they're seeing people they know losing their jobs, and they've seen the possibility of this. My own daughter, she wanted to be a graphic designer, and that was taken away by Nano Banana in one night.
Yeah.
So we sit in such a good place, and I was trying to get that across to the people in the audience, because just a bit of hope. Nobody is going to go in and want to see a band that's AI, or people want real connection when they go and see music, and they want music that's made by humans.
Yeah, completely.
So there couldn't be a better place where we're sitting right now.
I completely agree with you, because when I go to gigs and when I listen to music personally, what I'm listening for is the energy and the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
That's what resonates with me the most. And with AI music, you don't feel that. There's none of the human element of it. Like, the mistakes build the music, the experiences that you have build the music. And if you just put it in a program, you can't get that.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit, right? And I'll tell you why. You see what you said? It's so true, right?
Yeah.
But you're wrong. I had a go of the next generation of Suno a while ago, right?
Yeah.
And it has all the mistakes, it has all the happy mistakes, it has all those things, because it's trained on all the music we've ever made, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference, and it made me feel stuff, and that terrified me.
Really?
It made me feel. So I was in your camp the minute before that.
Yeah.
Now I'm flipped. It's beyond that now, right? So now I would say now we can't tell.
Yeah.
Now a lot of the music that you're actually listening to is AI generated. If you're listening to Spotify playlists, you're hearing AI generated music, right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. It's all woven in now, right? Because the less they need to pay artists, the better for them. So now we're entering an age where we can't tell the difference, and the only difference is going to be the authenticity of the person behind it, not the music itself anymore, which is a horrible, terrifying prospect.
Yeah, it is.
However, it is where we are.
Well, I'm going to be unprofessional, because I wrote some of the stuff down that I wanted to speak to you about, and that really builds off of that really well, which was I was looking at some of your past interviews, and one of them was with 15 questions. And I was looking on that, and specifically what you were just saying then, I thought was a really good point, was you were speaking about how you think that musicians should be paid fairly for the blood and sweat that they put into their music, which I completely agree with personally. And what I wanted to ask you was, with your kind of experience, what have you found that has kind of been able to help support musicians and help push them forward through this kind of time?
Funding, funding. You really need to. This is the thing that's good about this AI generation. Anyone has access to write a funding application now.
Yeah.
Because if you can just say what your music's about, AI can help you with that as well. I think we shouldn't be. My daughter and her class, they were given an AI lesson in school, and they all walked out.
Really?
I think there's a happy medium, right? My rule is the AI never touches the creative, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't go near the art, it doesn't go near the music. But all the office stuff, AI is such a help, chasing rights, all of this sort of stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
So how, I forget your question, was it how oh yeah, funding applications. So that was a great barrier to people, to be able to, lots of people that are making the best music couldn't write a funding application. Now we can all write funding applications. My advice is to search what funding's out there. There's plenty of grant search databases, right?
Yeah.
On Creative Scotland, they've got a really good one that covers England as well. You put in your criteria, who you are, like if you've got a disability or anything like this, it's put it in as well, and it'll just tell you what funds you can apply for. And I don't know who I'm giving this advice to, myself, I'm just like talking, but start with help musicians.
Yeah.
Help musicians want to give you money, right? They've got so much money and they want to give it. They just want you to tell them the right thing so that they can give it. And see if you start with them and you get a very, very small grant for them, £200 to do something, £500 to do something. you then have had funding. And see, to get funding, you kind of need to have had funding, you know. So to get Creative Scotland funding, which is the biggest kind of funding that you would get, they're not going to give it to you if you've not proven that you had funding, you did what you said you were going to do, you completed it. You know, that's like, so start small. But and also, if you're a musician, am I talking to musicians?
Yeah, you're speaking to musicians, anyone who's wanting to get into the industry, like production-wise, if they're wanting to do event management, like me wanting to go into music journalism, just you know, all of these different aspects of just creativity in music.
Well, there is money out there. There is people who have money that die and they leave money to small funds, and there is loads of them. Search them. They're there for all aspects of the music industry and the creative industries. There is little funds. Just search them, get a bit of money. See, having a little bit of money behind whatever project it is you're doing, it takes such a bit of stress off you.
Yeah.
And not just that, when you put that creative funding application in, you're giving them a deadline for when you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Now you have a deadline that you've got to do it. And every creative person is the same, I think. We all, you know, we need a deadline.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. The other thing I'd say to musicians in particular is get your metadata right from the start. Start from your first release, start a spreadsheet and record everything about it. By your 20th release, you're not going to remember anything from that one. And I have just spent about 2 months of my life chasing unpaid royalties, which was thousands of pounds in America that were misappropriated because PRS hadn't filled a form right.
Yeah.
So it's like PRS is the Publishing Rights Society who collect money on your behalf and then pay it out to you.
Yeah.
You need to go in there and check what data they're using, make sure it's all right, have your database, your spreadsheet all perfect, you know, keep it somewhere safe. See, writing a song, that's creating an asset that's going to pay you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, this is very true.
Small amounts, but see all those small amounts, they mount up. And if you've got the metadata that's collecting from around the world, you do a little share, you know. So having it all right, that's just money that comes through every 3 or 4 months for me. I'm not expecting it. I never know how much it'll be, but it's always a welcome amount, you know. And if you don't get your metadata right, that's not coming your way. Nobody else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
In fact, they're going to do it really badly because it's somebody sitting somewhere copy and pasting. I found out that a company that shall go unnamed have been claiming all of my American royalties for the last 5 years.
Really?
Well, yeah. So because I hadn't checked, I just assumed that because I had the British ones right, that would be right. Not so. They make it as hard. This is okay, cynic. They make it as hard as possible for you to collect your money because that money sits in a big pot. And it gets paid out mostly by market share with someone like MCPS, who are the Mechanical Royalty Society. They collect. And that money goes, market share means, same as Spotify, it goes to the big artists.
Yeah.
And the little artists get thrown the breadcrumbs. But if you've got it right, you're in a much better place.
What is really lucky that I can speak on my behalf with Tom McPherson, who was on your panel, was I took music business in my second year at Anglia Ruskin. And he really went into the royalties and stuff and showed us specifically how to get how to get our royalties set up, how to get our publishing rights, how to get mixing, mastering. He also showed us how to basically get our music out in different platforms as well, how to actually promote it. So that was something that I've been very lucky that I've been able to have myself. But I know that a lot of musicians, especially if you're going on from a DIY aspect or you haven't gone to university to find out this sort of information, that this is really important that we know this. So I really appreciate you passing that on.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I didn't have any mentors or anyone giving me much advice, and the advice wasn't out there on the internet as much when I started. So the more that I can stop young musicians making the mistakes that I made and spending so much money like what I spent, you know, on stuff that has no return, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas that money could be spent on creating your own community around your music or your art or whatever it is you're doing, or improving what you're doing, improving yourself, you know. The number one thing is just to, you know, you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a writer.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be spending all this time doing social media or something like that, you know. Your art suffers if you're spending time in other places. You can't spread yourself so thinly. So the moment I realised, get your head down and work and the good things come to you, you know. People gravitate towards someone who's working hard. You know,
Yeah,
there's
this is
something
true, yeah.
very attractive about someone who's got their head down and they're doing something good. You know, you can't expect them to come looking for you until there's something to see.
Yeah, it's inspiring when you actually see someone working hard as well. I've had that personally. But building off of what you were saying about community, one of the things that I saw that I think is pretty much, in my experience, unique to you is the sending out postal like things to your fans and stuff. I think that's really interesting. That's a really cool thing. Like, I think you had it marketed as something that was like old school postal sort of thing, which is was great. How so? How does that work? And how could if anyone, for example, was wanting to look into that, how would they do that? Because it's so unique. I really like it.
Yeah. It's been incredibly successful, like way beyond what I thought. So what happened was I looked last year or earlier this year, I looked at my Meta ad spend, right?
Yeah.
And I'd spent nearly £3,000 on Meta ads. And I looked at that number and I thought, oh, right, okay, that's normal. And then I was lying in bed thinking about it. I thought, wait a minute. That's like a car.
Yeah.
I've spent that. And I have no way of knowing, really. I mean, they tell you, all these people have clicked and all these people have reacted and all these people have pressed the ticket button.
Yeah.
And when we go play a gig, the gig's full, great. But is the gig full because of that? So I started near the end of the gig to say, please, I'm spending all this money and I'm just wondering who it's reaching. If you're here because you've seen a Meta ad, put your hand up. And from all of those gigs that we played, and all of those £3,000 that we spent, one hand went up. One, right? £3,000 for one person.
Yeah.
So it's not real. You're not being shown real numbers. You're not being shown numbers of people that are buying your tickets, right? So what I decided was, well, I'm not going to spend another penny. I'm going to create a community. And the thing, this is a whole other topic, but the thing about, so you've got your socials, right? Where you've got your community of your fans.
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't. You know, you've borrowed a platform and they can switch that off at any point, like they did to me last month. And because I was complaining about the BBC late night radio, me and the other guy who were doing it, they switched both of our accounts off. They just cancelled their accounts. And that was my 10 years of building a followership. You know, all these fans, couldn't communicate with them whatsoever. My appeal succeeded and I got mine switched back on. His didn't. He lost all his fans. This was just another reason of me saying, you know, you don't own that. You've got 1 million followers on TikTok. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have that. You know, you've got 100 people on your mailing list that open your emails, that buy your records, that buy your music, that read your articles, you know, whatever it is that you're doing creatively. Those people you own. You own those email addresses, and any time of the day, night, week, whatever, you can send a lovely email out to them, you know, that tells them what you're doing and tells them a bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And so this is the idea behind Followers Dispatch is what we called it. It's a step beyond that. So in my MailChimp, about 50, I'm getting like 50% opens, which is really, really good. You know, it's normally about 10, 20, something like this. But that's only half of these people. So I thought, well, you know what is wrong? And I realised everyone's fed up reading stuff. You know, we're fed up of just having to read all these things on screens because that's what most people's jobs are as well. I decided to start sending something out to people, use that £3,000 marketing budget, we call it, and just make something beautiful 4 times a year. Right, just 4 things, and I would pay for it with that £3,000, and that would be marketing, right? So we set it up like that, asked people to join, hundreds of people joined that day, hundreds, and gave us their addresses, you know, which just proved the kind of model that people are dying for this. So then I decided, well, if I'm doing the work right, and I'm making the art, and I'm making the music, and I'm making these postcards, and I'm making these stickers and all that, why am I paying for it? It is a marketing thing in a way, right? But it's also like a beautiful thing, you know. I'm getting artists to do these things. I'm paying them.
Yeah.
So why don't I introduce tiers and we'll do something a wee bit extra? So I introduced paid tiers of £5, £10, £50, £100 one, and people all just started paying. And now it's more than paying for itself. It's now bringing in generating a little bit of income for the band, and it means that I have no stress, no weight of this. Trying to make something. It means I've got a commitment to make something and make something good.
Yeah.
So the first one went out today. I'm talking about it as if it's been going on ages, but the first one went out today. The community is built around it and they're waiting. And what we did as part of it was the people who are on the free, they get a nice postcard. And on the postcard, there's a QR code, and the QR code takes them to a secret website. And on the secret website, there's an unreleased Constant Follower song.
That's amazing.
Right? That won't be released. A properly mastered and all that, like actually a good one. That I think, and so they can go there, they listen to that, they can read a little bit. There's exclusive merch, which is good for them if they want it, and for us. And then the people on the higher tiers, they get a password, and the password takes them further into the website, which has like notes from the studio, we called it, which is basically like a blog of what we're up to. It has demos of the creation of it. This was a beautiful thing. I went back and listened to all my little Zoom recordings of when I wrote the first album. And there's 4 recordings. The most popular song on that first album was called The Merry Dancers on TV, which is kind of loosely about AI computer takeover and people missing. My parents who live in the west coast of Scotland, in the days before there was the Northern Lights every single day of the week, and one night there was a big alert of the Northern Lights above their house, and they missed it because they're watching a documentary about the Northern Lights on their telly, which to me just blew my mind, right? So that's kind of what that song is kind of loosely about. It was the things we miss, because of screens. But I can't remember writing it. I have memory problems, so I don't remember anything, But I certainly can remember writing it. I started listening to these Zoom recordings, and there's 4 in a row. And on the first one, you hear me capturing the wee guitar bit a little bit and playing that for a while. On the second one, you hear me starting to kind of hum over it a wee bit. Just really weird wee melodies. By the third one, I'm starting to say words. And by the fourth one, you can hear the song.
Yeah.
Right? And see that, for me, that's like, my goodness, that really moved me. Because I don't know how to write a song. I don't know how songs are written. And now I know how I wrote that song.
Yeah.
And it's there, and I can share it with people. And I don't share it with everybody because everyone's not, you don't need to bring everyone, they're not all interested to the same level. The people that are interested will pay that extra to come and have something special. And that is, for me, that's something special. So that's kind of the graduation of, I don't know, in marketing, you would call it a funnel probably, and that's like the people coming into the funnel. But it's not like that. This isn't a marketing funnel. This is this is a community, and the people that are most deeply invested should be allowed to see some stuff that you don't want to show to everybody.
Yeah.
And those people, they also get their name on the next record. We have a little message chat back and forth in the main bit, that I answer instantly as soon as I can. A very long answer to a short question. There you go.
It's amazing. No, I feel like I could speak to you for hours. This is brilliant. I'm loving this. With what you were saying there, like the unreleased bit, it kind of reminds me of just like a personal story. My little sister's become a massive Prince fan. She's a huge Prince fan, like my dad was as well. And she's got a like little vinyl collection that she started and stuff, which I love that she's like listening to it. And she has been like going through like trying to find all the singles of like different B-sides and stuff that she can't find anywhere else. And it reminds me a lot of that, where it gives, to me, it's giving that kind of specialness of like going back through the record store or going and trying to find these secret things that people don't know about. I really like that. I really, really like that. Yeah. I'm getting a bit wary of time, and I don't want to. But so one of the things I should be asked as well, how did your panel go? How was the panel? Do you enjoy being your time here today? Like, how has the conference gone for you? Like, what have you taken away? How are you feeling about it?
It's a wonderful conference, of course, and this is my third time or so coming down to be involved in some respect. I'm from. How did the panel go? Well, like I said, the panel question was what now? But I think that most of the musicians walking out of there would have been saying, well, yeah, but what now?
Yeah.
I think that to answer what now in half an hour, I can give my experience. I can say, well, probably not this, or this worked. Mm. But the fact is, what now is something that you need to find out yourself. You need to put in the work. And I think that's why lots of really great music doesn't go anywhere, because you can have the great music, but you also need to care enough to try and get it in front of people. And there's no guiding hand that's going to come and scoop you up.
Yeah.
Unless you're very, very, very handsome or very, very, very pretty, and they can see the pound signs, like it's there is no guiding hand.
Yeah.
It's work, and it's working hard, like we said before, and putting it in front of people. So the panels for me are always disappointing in that I don't want to have let down the people that came to get an answer.
Yeah.
So for me, it's quite deflating in a way, but only personally, and the response was lovely, and of course the treatment here is lovely. And there was more to your question, which I can't remember.
Well, one thing I was going to say on that as well is Dan Parry, who's one of the musicians who's playing today. He's a massive fan of yours, so he was sat there for the panel. He'd love that.
He's an amazing guitarist. He does a cover of Talk Talk's "It's My Life," and whilst that's not my favourite Talk Talk song, it is certainly the most unique cover I've ever heard of it, and I appreciate it and I love it. But yeah, Talk Talk are my band. It's like they informed a lot of my music, so it's good to walk into that. Great guitarist, a great guy.
He is going to be over the moon hearing that. He really is. But that is all the time we have. Stephen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Raylan.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you soon.